Yo, what's good? What's happening? Welcome into the show. This is the San Francisco 49ers Report. Hope all of you out there are having a fantastic weekend, doing something fun with summer underway. Coming your way, Niners breakout candidates after mandatory minicamp concluded. The next time this team will be together, training camp at the end of July. So we're going to go through some players who could really pop off for the 2024 season. The rule here, we're not going to talk about rookies, because I don't think that a rookie can technically break out because we don't know what the previous history of that rookie is. So this is year 2 players and beyond for the Niners. Naturally, today's poll question is this: who is your top Niners breakout candidate? You can drop me a name. You can drop me names down below in the comment section right now. Breakout candidate number 1 for me is safety Ji'Ayir Brown, the 2023 third-round pick out of Penn State, a player who I really liked in the pre-draft process because of how he plays and flying around, the physicality that he has, the positional versatility, and the instincts that he had at Penn State. I covered Penn State with my previous job, and it just seemed as though Ji'Ayir Brown was always flying around the field, making plays at all 3 levels, and impactful plays, being able to really read and diagnose what was going to happen and being a step ahead of the action. And he met with the media during OTAs, and he talked about how last year was really difficult as a rookie. And it made complete sense because you think about the calendar for a rookie. You finish the college season, and then that wraps up. Maybe you play a bowl game, and then you have to start training for the NFL Combine right away. That's why some of the opt-outs from bowl games happen, because the Combine is in March. And you can make yourself a lot of money. You can lose a lot of money during the NFL Combine. Right after March, the NFL draft is at the end of April. And in the lead up to the draft, you're taking all of these visits. And let me also say that prior to the Combine, you're going maybe to the East-West Shrine Bowl. You're going to the Senior Bowl in Mobile, Alabama. So it's a lot. And then the draft happens at the end of April. You go right into rookie minicamp. After that, slight break, OTAs, mandatory minicamp. You have a month off. And then you go into training camp. And then you're playing football if you're Ji'Ayir Brown through February because he made it to the Super Bowl. So he admitted that last year was a grind. And this year he's better prepared going into year 2 because his body finally had a chance to recover. And he played a lot of football last year as a rookie because Talanoa Hufanga got hurt. And that's why I think that he can break out in year 2 for a sophomore campaign. I thought the numbers checked out. I thought the tape checked out. Overall Pro Football Focus grade of 77.9, a run defense grade of 77.5, a coverage grade of 74.5. All of those numbers well above league average. 9 stops, 6 missed tackles for him. He allowed a passer rating of 98.5. This all came on 275 coverage snaps, 2 interceptions. Remember when he didn't play against the Green Bay Packers? And people were like, you got to get Ji'Ayir Brown back on the field. Well, he comes back on the field. I thought the Niners defense was better. And then in the Super Bowl, he'll never forget it. He intercepted Patrick Mahomes. I'm sure he'll always hold on to that football. Breakout candidate number 2, Deommodore Lenoir. I know that to some, Demo has arrived. And for 3 years, he's been an impactful player since being a 5th-round pick out of Oregon. But I do have to pose this serious question. Do people realize how good Deommodore Lenoir has been? Being able to hold it down outside corner, slot nickel corner, sticky coverage on the regular, really good against the run. A player who plays bigger than his size and is a great developmental story for San Francisco and brings that dog mentality to this defense. He's never afraid to light somebody up. The hit that he had on Jordan Love in the divisional round when Love was still in bounds, injected into my veins, man. So Demo, a breakout candidate. He's provided great production and value for a 5th-round pick. In 3 years, he has given up, according to Pro Football Focus, just 4 touchdowns in coverage. Other databases have him just surrendering 3 touchdowns in coverage. Either way, that's an impressive number in 3 years. That inside-outside versatility is also important. The Niners have really stocked up at the cornerback spot as far as depth goes this offseason, and they have versatility with what they can do. Because if you want to have Demo on the outside, that's fine. You want to have him on the inside, he's one of the better inside corners in the National Football League. And in 2023, overall PFF grade of 72.5. Run defense grade, 72.1. I love how he plays the run with physicality. He'll make plays behind the line of scrimmage. Coverage, 72.6. He had 22 stops, 9 missed tackles, a passer rating allowed of 85.6. That coming on 666 coverage snaps, and he had 3 picks. So when I say that Demo can break out in 2024, I mean that he could have a Pro Bowl type of season. Next up, tight end Brayden Willis, former 7th-round pick out of Oklahoma, and backup tight end is a question mark for San Francisco after George Kittle. And there's a competition for that role. And so far this spring, OTA's minicamp, Willis has popped a little bit. He's been enjoying a good spring. And even after the signing of Logan Thomas, I still think that tight end 2 is up for grabs. You're always rooting for a young player to ascend, develop, and take a role like that because it's great for your football team. So a breakout year for Willis, I think, would look like this. Consistent tight end 2 reps, some playing time, and he's a really interesting player. You know, he's 6'4", so that's somewhat short as compared to a lot of other tight ends at the NFL level. He did play H-back at Oklahoma, and he was one of the best tight ends at picking up yards after contact. He could also see the field because he's a good blocker and he has special teams ability. Are you digging today's show, our breakout candidates? Do you dig our content? Hopefully you've subscribed. If you haven't, hit that sub button right now. We talk Niners daily right here on this show. Father's Day is coming up next Sunday. And when summer gets underway, we plan so much with our friends and family members. We book flights, we book vacations, and sometimes you can forget, oh shoot, Father's Day is creeping up. Don't miss out on this deal. Father's Day Niners shirts available right now at chatsports.com/49dad. They're just $26. Get yours today. Make your pops proud. Breakout candidate number 4. We're going to go with the free agent acquisition for the Niners. Yetur Gross-Matos, formerly of the Carolina Panthers, who, with the Niners this offseason, signed a 2-year, $18 million deal in free agency. The Niners clearly believe that they can tap into his potential when they're giving him $9 million per year. For Yetur Gross-Matos, it all comes down to YGM putting it together. Pro Football Focus called him the Panthers' most improved player last year, and this is a player who has unbelievable athletic traits. A vertical jump of 30-plus inches. He is 6'5", 266 pounds. He had a 10-foot broad jump in the pre-draft process and a wingspan of 82.25 inches. He is an athletic freak who has shown flashes of being a very solid rotational edge rusher. He just hasn't quite put it all together. I think that he could be a late bloomer, and I think he came to the right organization with Chris Kocurek to really extract the best out of him. Now, as a former second-round pick, you look at these numbers in his career, 2.5 sacks, 3.5 sacks, 2.5 sacks, 4.5 sacks, and that might be a little bit of a disappointment. But at Penn State and at times at the NFL level, I've seen a player who has pass rush ability. He can play very well against the run. He can play edge. He can play defensive tackle. He can be a down lineman. He can be a stand-up edge rusher. He can be a good piece for this Niners defense this year. And Leonard Floyd and Yetur Gross-Matos, they're going to switch off snaps. And ideally, you want a pass rush rotation to keep a player like Nick Bosa and others, you know, in a position where they are in good shape and they have some stamina and gas left in the tank at the end of the year. So the inside-outside versatility, I want you to think Arden Key as far as the player and the role here. And the Niners defense has been at its best when they have a player like Arden Key and Charles Omenihu, who can be that really good athlete who, because of the size, because of the length, because of the overall ability, they may not have worked out for their previous teams. Let me throw in Charles Omenihu, Cleveland Ferrell into that list. They may not have worked out with their previous teams. Yetur Gross-Matos didn't really work out with Carolina. They pair up on this defensive line opposite of Nick Bosa with the best defensive line coach in the NFL in Chris Kocurek. They find their stride in a scheme that is pass rusher friendly, and then they're utilized in a way that they should be utilized. Inside, outside versatility. I think Gross-Matos is able to do that this year. So those are 4 breakout candidates right there. Ji'Ayir Brown, Deommodore Lenoir, Brayden Willis, Yetur Gross-Matos. I'm not done, though. I want to throw 3 more players out there who I think could have big seasons. Darrel Luter Jr. has had some really good moments throughout OTAs and mandatory minicamp. A player who I liked in the pre-draft process last year because of the ball skills. Robert Beal is an excellent athlete with a good first step, quick 40-yard dash. He also has really good speed, who the Niners activated at the end of last year, and that kind of tells me a story that they believe in his ability, and again, the Chris Kocurek effect is in play, and then the Kocurek effect could be in play for Kalia Davis. For him, it's all going to come down to staying healthy. You know, he missed year 1 coming out of UCF because he tore his ACL late in the year for the Knights, and then he recovered from that injury as a rookie, and then last year had a couple of game stretch where he played well, and then he hurt his ankle. But he's going to have opportunities as a rotational defensive tackle for this team. Let's round out with this. How long have you been a Niner fan for? I want to see what the demographic is of this show. I've seen people who are 70, 80 years old watching the show. I've seen people who are 10 to 15 years old watching the show. Let's hear from the faithful.